briefly mention that it's going on.
That it's what? Hi there, greetings and salutations. My name is Jake Query. That is Derek Schultz. And this is now from Hoagies and Chili Water, right at that with action, technically speaking. We're inside Chili Water, but all one big happy complex of fabulous food and drink. And Derek, this is, as we are sitting here talking right now, the midst of everything involved with NFL free agency, legal tampering, whatever that means. That's an oxymoron. I have no idea if that means guys are allowed to sign stuff or whatever it is. They can negotiate now. But what number episode is this for us?
277.
277?
Yeah. One of the best sports months of the year. I love March.
February of 77? Why?
No, one of the best sports months of the year this month, just March in general.
It is. March is great, by the way.
It's my favorite.
And that began, by the way, kicking off March. Derek and I, and it was a little uncomfortable because.
Not at all.
No, it was. The Horizon League contacted me and said, would you like to go to our semifinals of our tournament? And I said, absolutely. I mean, great games between Northern Kentucky and Wright State, and then you had Robert Morris and as well Detroit. And so I said, yeah, I'd love to go. And I went, and Caleb Zuber, who's a buddy, came along, and I sit down, and I turn around to the left of me, and it was just like this. Look who's sitting right next to me. But that was a great game. Robert Morris and Detroit Mercy was a great game.
Did you sleep okay?
No.
Did you sleep? Because I dropped you off at 12:15 or
no,
so.
you yeah. Okay. I got an Uber, and oddly enough, the driver was Derek, which was weird.
It's a good side hustle.
You did drop me off about 12:15.
No, we had a great time. Jake brought me a pretzel, and just
I did.
Two guys watching hoops, laughing, talking,
eating pretzels.
Yeah,
right.
Just hanging out.
The pretzel was really good, actually.
It was good. Yeah. I've noticed that the concessions, just if you go to like a Pacers game or something like that, Colts have really improved. I feel like
the pretzels have
just in general, like the food in general has been good. Okay. And it better be. You're paying like $18 for it.
That's
right?
definitely true. Speaking of paying and perhaps overpaying, let's begin with this. What we know is this. Now, we know that we tape, and I think most of you know that we tape this program in the mornings each time that you see us, and that it airs later in the evening. I think it's entirely possible that by the time you're watching this evening, Daniel Jones will have been announced as agreeing to a contract with the Colts. I firmly believe, at the very least, I think they are close to it, and this week that will come to fruition. But let's begin with Alec Pierce, because to me this is a symbiotic thing here between Pierce and Jones and the negotiations thereof. Did the Colts overpay for Alec Pierce?
They paid what the market dictated he was worth. So overpay, underpay. If you weren't going to overpay, you're going to lose him.
Right.
So $29 million, and I guess I was right? Like I heard some people talk about, well, is it 25? Is it 26? And I'm thinking to myself, in this market, Pierce is going to get a lot closer to 30 than he's going to get to 25, and he ended up getting 29. And reportedly turned down more money to stay with the Colts, maybe from the Chargers. Did you see that report? Was that Stephen Holder? Or Joel A. Erickson, I think, had that as well. So, look, $29 million AAV for Pierce, it's probably worth it considering what he means to the Colts. Here's a guy that has upside still as a wide receiver one. He could take the top off of defense, and the tentacles of that reach through the rest of the offense and just open up the field for everybody else. He's a great home run hitter. He's one of the best downfield threats, if not the best downfield threat in the entire league. He's a go-up-and-get-it guy. He's a tough catch guy. He's a great route runner. Like Alec Pierce, we thought was a one-trick pony, and he's become a lot more than that. And I'm excited to see Jake. I mean, here's a guy he got 80 targets last year. 80. But, suddenly you give him 120, what's he going to produce?
Okay, so the two things that Alec Pierce apparently or reportedly said he wanted during the negotiation process, okay? One was that he wanted some confidence of who the quarterback was going to be. He wanted some assuredness of who the quarterback was going to be. And if he's going to be in Indianapolis, by all account, he basically said, I will be here if Daniel Jones is here. That's why it leads you to believe these two have talked, and they know that the Jones deal is close. I know that Jones is already transition tagged for 1 year, but Pierce is going to sign based on knowing that he's going to be here beyond just that year.
Jones will be retained.
Addition to that, he said, I want 100 targets. If I can get 100 targets. Now, that's not to say that the Colts go, yes, sir, and then mandate that. But clearly he is comfortable wanting an elevated role. I think when it comes down to it, it's this. We assumed that getting Daniel Jones was going to be priority number one so that then they could go to Alec Pierce and say, see, we have your guy, right? I think in reality, what happened was they knew where things stood with the situation with Jones contractually. They transition tagged him. That saved them about $13 million for this year if they play into this year because Jones' market value, shockingly, is probably $50 million a year. And I say that because if you look at it, $50 million a year, which is apparently what Jones was asking for, would put him like 12th in quarterbacks, which is about where he is probably realistically. But I think what happened was they knew basically, okay, Jones wants to be here, and we know there are going to be suitors elsewhere, but if we can transition tag him and buy ourselves that time and then say to Alec Pierce, no, don't worry about it. We're going to get Jones taken care of. This softens a little bit, if you will, the line that they have to go to Daniel Jones because now they can say, look, if you can go somewhere else if you want, but you have familiarity here. You have your main target that you were most comfortable throwing to along with Tyler Warren. Jonathan Taylor's here. Jones is no dummy. He's going to, I think, want to go with the familiarity of it and maybe, how many teams are going to give him $50 million a year? To me, this, in the end, you got to the same result just through the different route that we thought they would take to get there. But I do think they're going to have Jones and Pierce both next year.
It ended up working out. It was still a risk to let Alec Pierce test the open market. At the end of the day, you had to rely on Pierce turning down an offer for more money to stay here. So,
but they may have had the intel that he was going to do that.
Maybe you do, maybe you don't. But until until ink is on paper, it doesn't matter what somebody tells you they're going to do. You're still risking it by taking their word. It's a business, and not everybody kind of lives by the honor code there. I guess my issue with this, Jake, is that where did these conversations start with Pierce? Because $29 million doesn't seem to be that much of an ask. Why didn't you come out with that offer? Right. And I think that's maybe what it. But you're right, Jake. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Pierce is back. Daniel Jones almost certainly is going to be back. And then because of that, you had to shed some other salary, right? The Michael Pittman Jr. deal to do a late round pick swap to get him off your books with Pittsburgh made a lot of sense for the Colts. And then he restructured with Pittsburgh, something he couldn't do here. And Pittman Jr. is going to make $20 million AAV, which is a lot more AAV than he should be.
Derek, I don't say this about a lot of athletes, okay? For Michael Pittman Jr., for Colts fans, they should have, if the Colts play Pittsburgh again or he has a chance to come back, then Michael Pittman Jr. should be given a huge ovation. This guy did everything that was asked. He played hurt. He fought through stuff. He was a really good player, good citizen, good teammate. Nothing but good things to say about Michael Pittman Jr.
Yeah, and another guy who handled his exit very well, who we've worried before. Are you okay? Are you going to make it during the show?
This happens every morning,
Vince,
that.
Do you need to just cut his camera?
It's always around you. Sneezes. What detergent do you
Another
use?
guy that really handled it very well was Zaire Franklin. I think was very mature about it and nothing but love in the whole thing. And look, you're right, Jake. These are really good guys, but it was time. It was time to move on to something else. I wrote this last night on X, actually, while we were sitting at the game. You went to go get your third pretzel of the night. And I sent
what was for you?
I sent a tweet that, I'm not trying to be a jerk here, but while Michael Pittman Jr. and Zaire Franklin are really nice guys, they didn't win anything here. And we've mentioned this before on the show. Like, I feel like the locker room leadership needed a little bit of a refresh, right? Michael Pittman Jr. was a good player. He was not a great player. Zaire Franklin was a good player. He was not a great player. And when you don't have great players at the top of your roster, it's a lot harder to win. You get a little bit more sort of the middling seasons. And that's what the Colts ended up getting with these guys. So, the people that are like, oh, my God, how could you lose Pittman for just a late-round pick swap? He's worth so much more than that. And, man, he was a really great player in this offense.
Well, the value of what you're getting in trading Michael Pittman is not a player. It's the flexibility to be able to retain Alec Pierce and then Daniel Jones. Now, I'm under the belief personally that Pierce is still not ready to be a number one receiver. I think that he is an outstanding receiver. What we don't know is this, Derek. Is Pierce going to be Alvin Harper? Is Pierce going to be, there have been other receivers we've seen that we thought to ourselves, this guy's unbelievable. Then you take away the one. all the attention goes on him, and you find out, yeah, they're not everything that we thought they were going to be. I don't think that's going to be the case with Pierce, but you can't rule it out. So, do they still need – maybe Tyler Warren is that guy, right, that you use in different areas to soften a defense, and I think they know that. But back to your point, what you get in your return for Michael Pittman is cap flexibility. What you get in your return for Zaire Franklin is potential insurance if now you were to lose Grover Stewart once his deal is up, because you got back in return in Colby Wooden, a defensive run-stopping tackle. Nothing that knocks your socks off, but a rotational piece, yeah.
Yeah, I think getting back to Pierce, what I would say about him is that his skills and traits are not replaceable, not easily replaceable, whereas Pittman Jr.'s are. You can find other guys that do what Michael Pittman Jr. can do that gets you, 70, 80 catches, 700, 800 yards. Like, yeah, he's a great locker room guy. He's a good soldier here, all that, blah, 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 blah. I'm almost sort of tired of the conversation about that. Like, I don't really care. What I want is the Colts to win. That's what I want. I want guys that win. I want winners. I want great players. And if you can't do that, then I don't have time for you. And I'm not saying that things like, being active in the community and being a nice guy aren't important things. I do believe that they are important things, and they're especially important things here. But at this point of year 10 for Chris Ballard, I want to win.
I get
That's
it.
what I want.
But let me ask you this, and I don't fundamentally disagree with you, but it's an interesting point, and I'll tell you why. And by the way, speaking of winners, thank you to Bailey & Wood. Bailey & Wood, presenting sponsor of this program, the very best when it comes to your mortgage rates. And, now, obviously, we've mentioned Mike's a Dolphins fan, the loss of Tua in Miami, right?
I don't know if you call it a loss, but, yeah, he's not there anymore.
But I'm going to give you 3 players. I want you to tell me off the top of your head if you'd take them on your roster. Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah, he seems like a good dude.
Okay.
I like him.
Josh Allen.
Yeah, I like Josh Allen. Yeah,
okay.
Sure. Anybody would take him. Franchise quarterback?
What's that?
Franchise quarterback, yeah.
Okay. I'll just throw those 2 for starters. What do they won? They're not winners. According to Derek Schultz, they're not winners.
Here's the thing, though. Christian McCaffrey has, and Josh Allen especially, like they're in the playoffs just about every year, right? Jake, I'm not just saying.
Divisions.
Here's where we are in sports. Like, what has Lamar Jackson won? It's not just about the ring. It's about, can you put yourself in contention every single year?
Right.
And I think the problem and the Colts issues go a lot deeper than just the top of their roster, right? I'm not trying to put all of the blame on Pittman Jr. and Franklin and Buckner and Nelson and Taylor and all of those guys. But the core of this team, for Team Run It Back, which is what they've been for so long, has made the playoffs one time. Pittman Jr. wasn't even on the team that won the last playoff game. Zaire Franklin was a second-year player on that team, so he at least had a playoff win under his belt.
I think, Derek,
that's just not enough.
I think one of the interesting things about free agency is we, as fans, as media, whatever it may be, it's not so much that you fall in love with making sure that you have certain players. It's rather falling victim to being terrified if you don't. And in the case of Alec Pierce and Daniel Jones, I don't know that it's so much that people are like, these are the guys that I can see in the crystal ball are going to lead us to the promised land, as much as it was, surely we can't lose our quarterback and a receiver that is a rising star. Oh, gosh, what would we look like if we don't have that? There's nothing waiting in the cupboard for us. So then you become paranoid of what happens when it's like, okay, wait, they're going to throw Riley Leonard and then Ashton Doolin? Is that what we're going to go with here? And so you become paranoid of that. And it's rather that you fall in love with the relief of not losing key pieces than it is the celebration that these key pieces are going to continue to lead you.
For optics, it was very important for the Colts to, and we're under the assumption they're going to retain Jones too, for the Colts to retain Jones and Pierce. But also, again, Jake, like Pierce, I think where you and I disagree is that I do think that he has wide receiver 1 potential.
I mean, he might, but Derek, what I'm saying is this. We do this and taking literally.
You overrate your guys in-house. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every team does this, okay? And look at here's the thing. Do you see any irony in the fact that in order to make room for Alec Pierce, the Colts got the relief of sending away a wide receiver that 2 years ago, the entire conversation going into free agency was, what are they going to have to do to retain Michael Pittman? Can't let Michael Pittman walk through that door. Can't let Michael Pittman leave. Oh, my gosh, thank goodness. The news just came out. They re-signed, and they've locked in Michael Pittman. Very seldomly do we see players that actually play the lifetime of the contract with return on investment.
No, you're right. But having a $29 million, I don't want to call it a poison pill, but having a $29 million cap hit in the last year, you had to know that even when you signed that contract, you knew, I'm probably not playing year 3 for $29 million. Probably not. The AAV that he got in Pittsburgh was more in line of what his market value was. But a $29 million AAV.
What does AAV, I mean, what does it stand for?
That's what Pierce is getting.
Average what?
And there was a lot of talk about him getting 30 AAV, which I think the Chargers
you just used the term, but you don't know what it stands for.
Average annual value, AAV. It's a very common term with what we're – Jordan, you know that term. It's used a lot in baseball.
But the annual is redundant, just average value.
Annual
value.
What?
Annual value.
Average to what?
The annual value. What's your annual value? It's the what are you paying each year for it? The annual value.
Well, but the annual value can change in the contract. Like sometimes you make $15 million one year and then you make $30 million, like what Pittman's deal was. Okay. So you just
in that case, your
distill
average
it
is 22.5
to AAV.
I just say he signed a contract for an average of $22.5 million. I think everybody knows when I say average, it means the annual value or whatever. Just what's your salary?
To be honest, even $20 million AAV is a lot for Pittman Jr., but Pittsburgh's only asking him to be a number 2 receiver and kind of a compliment.
Indy 500 qualifying, right? What do they say? Pull speed, 226.8. They don't say 226.8 miles per hour average per lap.
No, football, Jake. We're talking March, not May. We're talking football.
March is basketball. Okay,
talking football on the show.
Basketball, like a guy.
And NFL free agency.
What's he averaging? 26.9. They don't say 26.9 points average per game output.
They say PPG.
Point per game.
Points per game. PPG, AAV. What is the difference? I don't understand.
Because the AAV is redundant.
It's not redundant.
Yes, it is.
Average annual value. It's the average paid over annually that you're being paid.
What other term would you use it for? Average decade value?
No.
He's got an average decade value of $272 million.
Because I sign a $45 million deal.
Stupid terms that somebody comes up with so that their experts can sound really in touch.
Like,
his whip, vip, vorp was okay, great, right? Show me the Oakland Athletics. Here's a team that was built on guys with whip, vorp, and guess what? They're all getting their asses kicked. There you go. You know why? Because some dork behind a pen came up with all of these ridiculous terms and analogies and like, short term whatever and spit it out there, and somebody else is like, I'll just take this guy because he hits more home runs. Okay, great.
It's complicated to understand, I know, and not everybody can understand it. But if I sign a 3-year, $45 million deal in the NFL, that doesn't mean that the team is paying me $15 million, $15 million, $15 million. I could make 7.5 my first year. I can make 22.5 my last year.
Which
so
would
you
be
distill it down to
which is an average of $15 million
annual
So
value.
you just say he signed a 3-year deal at $15 million a year.
AAV. It's really easy to understand. It rolls off the tongue. I don't know why you hate acronyms.
It rolls off the tongue, all right.
I don't know why. A couple of other things to mention. A big defensive line shakeup as well. You mentioned Colby Wooden, who comes over in the deal with Zaire Franklin from Green Bay. They signed Arden Key, who's fine. He's 30 years old, whatever. He's a veteran. But Kwity Paye out the door, which we knew was going to happen. So long to Kwity Paye, who was just never a game changer here.
They sent away a Honda Accord for a Nissan Maxima.
And Neville Gallimore also. So I think Wooden probably steps in for that piece as well. And I think you probably knew you were losing him, which is why you made the deal. And again, people saying, well, why did you only give up Zaire Franklin for 20 cents on the dollar or Pittman Jr. for 20 cents on the dollar? To your point, Jake, it's for the cap savings. And the other teams know that you have to get rid of him. And just to get something back at all, improving a pick or getting a player like Wooden who's 25 years old and a good depth piece, it's better than getting nothing.
What percent of people, if we had gone to Lucas Oil Stadium remember they played San Francisco like the week before Christmas?
Yeah, Monday Night Football.
Yeah. If we went to that game.
I was at that game.
Passed out, okay, so we'll include you in this, right? You pass out to 1,000 people in the stands. I'm going to give you the first name, you tell me the last name, or I'm going to give you the last name, you tell me the first name of a player. And you put Green Bay Packers. blank wouldn't. How many would know?
Yeah, I if you want me to be totally honest, I didn't know who that was until 48 hours ago.
Right.
Yeah.
And yet, what makes me laugh about free agency, and I appreciate it, I enjoy it. It gives us something to talk about. But the people that are like, oh, they got to get this guy. They got, or oh my gosh, this guy, what a difference it's going to make. I'm like, 90% of people, I'm like, you've never heard of this dude. The same thing with the combine. The combine, people get super excited about, man, did you see that lineman out of Texas A&M? Like, boy, his shuttle time, whatever else. And I'm like, once he goes in the league, you never hear about the guy again, right?
And the whole deal about, like, I had somebody tweet me, now you have to shed more cap and then get an elite pass rusher. And I'm like, there are no elite pass rushers. They don't hit free agency. Like, that's just not what happens. Certainly not ones that are 26, 27 years old.
Look at Hendrickson. Like, Bill Polian said it best. I get that free agency is an outstanding way of accentuating your roster. But if players are game-changing players, they're not going to be available, right? There's a reason that free agents typically are available.
Free agents complement your roster.
That's what I mean.
You can't really buy a roster
in
free agency.
Speaking of compliment, that's a nice shirt you had there.
Thank you. Sausage Fest.
Yeah, it's a little, I mean, the design of it's cool, but the terminology is a little sophomoric.
It's neat. And then it makes the pecs stand out a little bit. You want to give it a feel just right here?
No, I'm fine.
You want to cup your hand?
No,
over
I'm
there?
Fine.
I know. It feels bad.
The pretzel last night was soft enough.
We've got our cheesesteak. You want me to grab it? Donnie always wraps it for us so it stays hot. Isn't that awesome? Let me go grab it. We'll do Hoagie and Hero of the Week. Hang on. Oh, wait. Oh, Rick. I didn't know Rick was here.
Good to see you.
I should have assumed that Rick was here. Can we get some napkins? We have the drink. Zaire.
You didn't put mayonnaise on this, did you?
No, I told him to hold the mayo, and I told him you were a baby, and he started laughing. Look at this.
This is so good, though.
So one last. Here, rip your end. There you go.
Look at that.
One last Zaire.
No, they'll still be on the menu, right?
Well, yeah, it'll stay on the menu, but one last kind of in tribute to Zaire Franklin. A good player. I said that on X the other night, and people were like, he's not really a good player. He stinks. Look, he struggled in coverage. He did not have a good 2025 season. I think we would agree there. Zaire Franklin was not great last season. But overall, 9 years, a seventh-round pick. It's a great story. A seventh-round pick who became an all-pro level player. I mean, for 1 year, right? But still. And the leading tackler on the team. I know tackles don't mean that much. They mean about as much as gold gloves, but still. And a locker room leader. I really like Zaire Franklin, and I know the Hoagies and Hops folks did too.
Zaire Franklin actually is my hero of the week. And I know that sounds weird considering that he just got traded away to Green Bay. And I know the podcast at times he said some things people didn't like or that just, raised some eyebrows, and he seemed to be kind of a self-promoter at the wrong time with the Pro Bowl stuff, but that was important to him. But not only was he a good player for the Colts and productive, not only was he a good kind of Cinderella story and a natural leader because he'd been a captain for 4 years in college, but in addition to that, he was involved in the community. He gave back to the community. He became part of it. He is a friend of Hoagies and Hops. He's a friend of the sandwich, the Zaire, which, in my opinion, is the best sandwich in Indianapolis. The Zaire at Hoagies and Hops is the best sandwich in Indianapolis. And it pairs perfectly, by the way, with right here, the dark side of the Munich, which is that German, stout, rich beer, but very smooth from chili water. Perfection. Man, it's smooth. It has no bite to it whatsoever. None. Just outstanding. And, of course, who doesn't love the look of the can, the tribute to the dark side of the Munich? Dark side of the Munich. Munich, very underrated city. Zaire Franklin was an underrated player when he was here, and his sandwich is the best in Indianapolis.
I want to see if I could eat that whole thing while you're talking.
And I did. I ate the whole sando.
I'm kind of embarrassed for you.
While you're talking, that's good. Wait, hold on. It's got to
it's beyond good.
It's got to get down my gullet here. I need the dark side to wash it. It's a good combo. It really is. Generally speaking, not generally speaking. I would not put ketchup and mustard. I would not put mayo on a cheesesteak. But that said, when in Rome and you order it, there is something about like the tomato-y that I kind of like. That's why I like the very best, which we had on the show last week, because of like that almost like tanginess of the tomato. My hero of the week is basketball related, not football related. How about the Miami Redhawks? What a great story. 31-0. It's an amazing accomplishment. I believe they're only the sixth team since 1976 Indiana to have an undefeated regular season. Can you name the other ones? There was one that I forgot on here.
Okay. Here you go. You ready?
I mean, you're going to know one right away because you had a scrape with them because they practice at North Central.
Vegas in 91.
Yep.
Kentucky in whatever that was.
2015.
15.
Yep. They also had the Final Four here that year.
Wichita State.
Yeah, that was the one that I forgot.
Gonzaga.
Mm-hmm. When the Final Four was here.
And there's one other one?
Yes.
Did they win? Obviously, they didn't win at all. Did they get to the Final Four?
They got to a regional final. They had a prominent, well, I shouldn't say prominent. They had an NBA player. They had two NBA players on that team, but they had one that people remember.
How old was I at the time?
I was in college.
Hit me.
St. Joseph's.
Oh, yeah,
Jameer Nelson, Delonte West.
Yep.
Undefeated regular season as well. I think they lost in their league tournament, though. I don't think they were undefeated. I think they had two losses. Maybe I'm wrong. They lost to Oklahoma State in the regional final in a 1-2 game. Gonzaga lost in the championship to Baylor. Kentucky lost to Wisconsin in the Final Four. UNLV obviously lost to Duke. And then Wichita made the Final Four and lost in Atlanta, right? Or was that the year before? No, that was the year after they went to the Final Four. 2013, they went to the Final Four. 2014, they lost to Kentucky. They were the 1 seed, and Kentucky was in the 8-9 game. The Harrison twins and that group that went all the way to the Final Four. That's what it was. So those are the other teams that have gone undefeated. But my point is that, Jake, you remember them. Like, I remember those squads more than teams. I know a lot of them made the Final Four, I guess, but teams that, ultimately went to the championship game and ended up losing.
I have a solution here to a college basketball debate that's been going on. Okay?
Can I mention one more thing about Miami? They only played 2 quad 2 games. I get it.
Okay.
A lot of people feel like they don't belong in the field. A lot of close games against quad 3,
quad 4.
Simple. Still an incredible story.
It's very simple. To get into the NCAA tournament, to earn an at-large or to earn an automatic bid, not an at-large, but to earn an automatic bid, you can do one of two things. You can win your conference tournament in a conference that is aligned with it, or you can go undefeated in the regular season. And before people jump at me and say, but they didn't play anybody, there are a lot of teams that don't play anybody. There are a lot. In 50 years, it's happened 6 times. It literally is just over 1/3 of a 1,000th% chance of happening. It's happened 6 times in 50 years. That right there merits getting into the NCAA tournament. I don't care if you played Creston, Stony Brook, Eastwood, West Lane, Fulton, South Wayne, and Craig Middle Schools. You ran the table.
And they basically did. But still, it's it's still an incredible
But they won their league, and they were undefeated in their league. And when you play in your league, you're playing against teams that know your system, that know what you're doing, that have players of the equal caliber, and they know what you're running, and you still beat them all.
And Travis Steele said it best. We're getting everybody's best shot. I mean, that gym in Athens against OU, a rivalry game, it was full. The fans are throwing stuff on the court. They're flipping each other the bird. Like, that was hostile. And they went in there, and they still ended up finding a way. So congrats to Pete Suter, Travis Steele, all the Indiana ties there on that Miami Redhawks team, 31-0 as they enter into their conference tournament.
That sandwich is amazing.
It's good. We come back. Speaking of college hoops, we'll talk some college hoops. Not great. Not great situation that Indiana finds themselves in. Not a great situation that Purdue finds themselves in. We'll talk about it next. It's Query and Schultz, presented by Bailey & Wood Financial Group here on the ISC Sports Network.
Nice snap.
Mortgage is a snap. Duh.
Bailey & Wood, a lending hand for Wish TV Sports.
Hey, AC.
Nice snap.
Mortgage is a snap. Duh.
Bailey & Wood, a lending hand for Wish TV Sports.
at this. I was going through, had a ding on my phone, and it was from the Hoagies and Hops IG account. Cheesesteak eating competition. Compete against 6 local celebs on Saturday, March 21st. I mean, that'll have to be us, right? We'll be 2 of the 6.
With the rate in which you just put that
Who would
down?
be the others? Probably Alexa Ross. I know she's a big fan. Matt Conti. Would you count him as a celebrity? Matt Conti might be.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Sure,
he
why
might not want to be called a celebrity because he's like a PR guy, and he has some integrity, unlike us. Fastest eater of 1 regular heavy Whiz Wit will win 6 free cheesesteaks. Wow. All competitors must promote the National Cheesesteak Day, 15% on social media as well. If you're interested, email Christina. The first 6 serious cheesesteak eaters will be chosen and must tell me why our steaks are the best in the Midwest. Wow. You going to do it?
I mean, that would be the 24th, you said?
Whiz Wit is onions. Can you handle it? Does
Uh,
Mottman let you do stuff like this? I know you can't really do anything
probably.
where you have to exert yourself, which hasn't been a problem for you. You barely exert yourself as it is. You exerted yourself to get here, I guess. But I don't know if Mottman wants you to do that. We'll keep that in mind. National Cheesesteak Day, by the way, forgot to mention, March 24th. And Hoagies and Hops always does a bunch of stuff here. We'll plug that more as we get a little bit closer to the event. I know we're still a couple of weeks out. Indiana splits the week, but really doesn't help their tournament case. They beat Minnesota, which who cares? Minnesota stinks. And then they really got blown out at Ohio State. I mean, that was they had some window dressing late, but that was a game.
But Derek, this is the benefit, though. No one, and I know we've had this discussion all the time. It's a soft bubble, right?
Yeah.
You agree with me on that?
Yeah, it's a soft bubble.
Soft bubble meaning?
It stinks.
Right.
Yeah.
Because it could pop at any time, and then you're. Although, actually, in this case, I guess it's more.
You have argued that it should be the other way around.
Yeah, it's kind of
a
the
firm
hard
bubble.
It's kind of the hard bubble because it's so bad that it's hard to bounce yourself off of it. Right.
That's exactly what happened to IU. 8 other bubble teams played over the weekend, and they all lost.
That would make it a hard bubble.
Yeah.
Right? Because a hard bubble is harder to burst.
So IU's competing against like Auburn, Virginia Tech, Stanford, New Mexico of the teams fighting to get it. Ohio State's in at this point. Ohio State's
Auburn's
off the bubble.
I mean, what? Auburn's like 15-14, and they beat Florida. It's like we beat Florida in January. Put us
Auburn has some great win. Yeah, but at Florida is a really great win.
It
Whereas
is, but
IU, Purdue at home is a very good win. At UCLA, And really, IU has 2 wins. And it just goes to show you, Jake.
I think IU's in.
It is not hard to make the NCAA
tournament. Let me ask you this. Indiana opens the Big Ten men's tournament coming up on Wednesday. They will play the winner of Northwestern and Penn State, okay? If Indiana wins that game, which would then send them on to play Purdue, if Indiana wins that first game, are they in?
No, because I think you're going to have a bid steal or 2. Indiana's
That's
right on
fair.
the cut line. Indiana's right on the cut line. So even one bid stealer with
You've
where
gotta-
Indiana is
here's
would
a
put
good
them in a
example.
bad spot.
The West Coast Conference. You got Gonzaga and St. Mary's.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know who the other two. I think
Santa Clara.
Santa
is
Clara
in that
might be in
mix.
the
Yeah.
semifinals. Santa Clara would be a bid stealer because if Santa Clara wins the West Coast Conference, Gonzaga and St. Mary's are in, and that suddenly becomes a 3-team league.
Jake,
You do not want
the
that if
MAC
you're Indiana,
champ.
huh?
If Akron or Kent State win the MAC, I think Miami's getting in
I would
because
agree.
there would be just a huge outcry if Miami, an undefeated regular season, did not get in the NCAA tournament.
I would agree with that.
So that could be a 2-bid.
Especially if Miami goes deep in there. Can you imagine if they're
But I will say this, Jake.
34-1?
If Indiana beats the winner of Penn State Northwestern and beats Purdue, then they're going to put themselves in a really good spot.
I would agree
to
with
make
that.
the tournament.
I think if they beat Purdue, they're in.
Which I would agree given where the bubble is, but it just shows it is not difficult to make the NCAA tournament. It's
Okay.
certainly not as difficult as IU makes it on themselves.
People listening right now, we're having exercise here, okay? If you're listening right now, and I've given my cell phone number out on the radio, so I'll do it here as well. If you're listening right now, I want you to get your phone out, unless you're listening on your phone, in which case you can simply open your texting area. And I want you to open it to my number, which is 317-523-9288. Okay? 317-523-9288. I'm going to describe a college basketball team, and I want you to text me immediately what your answer is. This is a program that has won multiple national championships in the last 35 years. It is a program that, for the most part, excluding perhaps after they won their first championship, but more often than not, annually, when Selection Sunday rolls around, they pop up as a 4 seed, and they're 26-7, and you literally say to everyone in the room, I had no idea they won 26 games. I have not heard a thing about them all year. I don't know anything about them. I couldn't tell you who their best player is. I think I can maybe, if you gave me and spotted me a couple letters on Wheel of Fortune, name their coach. I think of the Blue Bloods as being Connecticut and Indiana and Duke and Kansas and Kentucky and Michigan. Yet, for the last quarter of a century, they're one of them. And they are every year a top 4 seed. And every year when they're a top 4 seed, I'm like, I didn't hear a thing about them all year long. And yet, here they are again. And once again, they are going to be a top seed. They have approaching, by the time the Final Four rolls around, they will be 30 or more wins on the year. And you didn't think about them once. And somebody in your NCAA tournament bracket is going to pick them to win it all. And you're going to go, oh, okay, yeah, that's fair. That's cool. But everybody else is picking UConn, and everybody else is picking Houston, and everybody else is picking Michigan. And this team's just going to hang around. And before you know it, you're like, well, there they are again. They are literally like the Kansas City Chiefs. You keep writing them off as you dismiss it, and lo and behold, there they are. Derek, what program am I talking about?
Florida.
The Florida Gators. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Every year, right?
Yeah. I
mean, what are they right now? Like 27-4 or something?
They're really good.
Yeah.
Again. Yeah, they're really good again. And
everybody's talking about in the SEC, was Kentucky going to be good this year? Vanderbilt got out to a great start, and Auburn, are they in or out? And all the, and yet, with all that, Alabama's good. Boom. There's Florida just hanging around.
No, and this is going to be a difficult year because there are, like I've said, there are probably 10 to 12 teams that could win.
Florida's got an 8-foot kid. You know that?
Yeah, they do. 8'5", isn't he?
Honestly, how tall is that?
Tall. Speaking of Purdue, they won at Northwestern. C.J. Cox had 28 points, but then they gave up nearly 100 to a Wisconsin team who's good but not great. 5th loss at Mackey. They're the 7th seed in the Big Ten tournament. 7th seed.
Can you name 1 through 6?
Yeah, I think so.
1.
Michigan.
2.
Michigan State.
Nope.
Illinois.
Nope.
Nebraska.
Nebraska's 2. You got to go in order.
I'm not
1,
going in
Michigan, 2.
And then UCLA 6.
Yeah.
And Wisconsin's 5.
Wisconsin's the 5, are you sure?
Yeah.
You didn't know Nebraska was the 2?
No. I didn't know that. I haven't thought at all about Nebraska.
Are they like
second
Florida?
worst regular season finish for Purdue since 2014. They finished 10th in that weird COVID year of 1920, the only year that they would have missed the tournament in that span if there had been a tournament. And again, they just seem broken. Defensively, teams have figured them out. They're getting lit up from the three-point line. They have a good draw for the Big Ten tournament. They have a good draw. I mean, all you have to do is beat Indiana and then beat, I think it's, who's at the bottom of the bracket? Is it Michigan State or somebody like that? Whoever they've got next after that. I looked at it last night. I was like, this is a better draw than what they would have gotten had they gotten Illinois and Wisconsin and teams like that.
Derek.
But
I have a theory.
Yeah.
Okay. You and I were talking about this last night while we were watching the Horizon League. A little bit. Purdue's Achilles, I think we can now say, the weakness for Purdue, the area that you would attack for Purdue, is simply the fact that they can't guard anybody on the three-point line. Their three-point defense, is putrid. And, I mean, they're giving up, like the 12th highest percentage of three-point shooting in the country. And that's where teams are beating them. And that's not been an area that has hurt Purdue in the past. I truly believe this. I go back to my offensive line analogy. In football, if you talk to people that know a little bit about the offensive line, they will tell you. Sometimes it's better to have average to slightly above average offensive linemen that have been playing together for a number of years that simply understand the movement and the tendencies of the guys to the left and right of them. And knowing that in just that nature, that second nature, that natural instinct of reaction of where guys are going to be allows for a line to move with solidarity. And if you get 5 guys that are all at 10 in terms of offensive linemen that have no idea the tendencies of what's to their left and right, guys can get out of position and et cetera. I really do believe, Derek, that Purdue, especially in the last handful of years, hasn't been as athletic as other teams on the wing, but they have figured out this second nature feel of where guys are going to be that has allowed them to do switches and other such things to get still in place in terms of guarding the three-point line. But when you have someone like an Oscar Clough, who's a very good player, but he is such a space eater in terms of them offensively and defensively that it pushes everybody out from their normal operating areas, and that is a group that still has not yet figured out just exactly and instinctively where their teammates on the wing are going to be now in the new areas that they have to control and operate. And they don't have the athleticism to be able to make up for that lack of instinct as to where guys are. And that's why they're missing switches in space, and that's why guys are getting open threes.
Yeah, I think they're so worried about protecting the paint and not letting their opponent get easy shots that they're just sort of overcompensating
Right
on that end and leaving open shooters. And in today's game, an open three-point shooter is very difficult to stop. Even on the college level, you're going to be shooting 45, 50% on open threes, and that's a lot of what Purdue is giving up. And also, Jake, the advantages that used to be advantages in old college basketball, being old and, Mackey Arena, like, you think Michigan's players are scared to go into Mackey Arena? None of them had ever played there before. How would they know any different?
Right.
Whereas, in 1995, when you're going to Mackey Arena and you're a senior, you're like, oh, crap, we've lost 3 games here, and I know how loud it is, and I know how difficult it is. Or the experience, everybody's experience. All you have to do is buy it.
Right.
You don't need to grow experience anymore. You don't need to have a fourth-year senior like Purdue has with Lawyer and Smith and TKR. You can just go out and buy a fourth-year senior. Be like, hey, experience, here's a check. You want to come play for me? Okay. And I just think these advantages that Purdue normally has been able to lean into over the years, they can't lean into because it's not an advantage anymore to have those things. I'm not ready to do a post-mortem on Purdue yet, but they're just – I'm out. Like, I can't imagine even a scenario where they make a run to Indy. I think it's off the table for them at this point.
Right.
To get beaten up by a pretty ordinary Wisconsin team the way that they did and look so out of sorts, very troubling. We come back on the show, quick hits, including a strip club promotion in the NBA that got canceled. Did you see this?
I mean, why is this even like being questioned?
We'll talk about it when we come back.
Oh, and the new show I told you about. Have you checked it out yet?
No, I don't want to talk about that. That's inappropriate. It's Corey and Schultz, presented by Bailey Wood Financial Group here on the ISC Sports Network. Yeah, that's adult audience.
At Bailey and Wood.
Welcome back. Rolling right along here. Corey and Schultz from Chili Water Brewing Tap Room and Hoagies and Hops, 42nd and Boulevard, southwestern edge of Midtown. Thanks so much for joining us. He's Jake. I'm Derek. The NBA has stepped in and they have canceled no mas the Atlanta Hawks' plans for the celebration of the city's Magic City Strip Club, saying yesterday that it was responding to concerns from many across the league. The event was supposed to happen next week, March 16th, during a game against the Orlando Magic, which there's a tie in there, Magic City, Orlando Magic. Atlanta announced the plan last month, calling it a tribute to a, quote, iconic cultural institution with food, including the club's lemon pepper wings, which are, I've heard, delicious, along with music and exclusive merch. While we are very disappointed in the NBA's decision to cancel our Magic City night promotion, we fully respect the decision, said the Hawks in a statement. As a franchise, we remain committed to celebrating the best of Atlanta with authenticity, maybe too authentic there, in ways that continue to unite and bring us all together.
Wouldn't you go for the breasts and not the wings?
Really? Like,
no, I mean,
yeah, let's grab that. With authenticity in ways that continue to unite and bring us all together, end quote. 3, 2, 1.
The bring together part isn't
Yeah.
really more about like getting open? You know what I mean? Like not together. You want like openness, right? When you're at Magic City.
Are you talking about the performers' legs on the stage? Is that what you're making a joke about?
No.
Okay.
I'm talking about the floor spacing for the Hawks. Get your mind out of the gutter. Did you mention? Did you?
I want to make sure where we are with
We were talking about this yesterday. You
trying to be
mentioned that
mature.
new show I'm watching.
No, I don't want to talk about the new
It's
show.
fabulous.
I don't want to talk about the new show.
No, let me show
Not
you. I
interested.
got an example. What do you have against that show?
I think look, it's a family-friendly thing, right? And I guess gentlemen's clubs are not that way, but they are part of the fabric of a city.
This show that I'm watching is on Channel 4 in the UK, which is part of their regular, normal public access regular television. It's not.
I don't want to talk about the show. It makes me uncomfortable talking
Why?
about the British show where people are naked. I don't want to talk about the naked show on British TV. Okay. Can we just not do it?
I don't understand.
No, I know that we usually like, haha, like joke around, like things like that. Like, I don't want to talk about the naked people, British people on the show.
That's one of the
even if
one of
it's
the
on.
contestants.
Yeah, like I don't.
No. So this show that I discovered, a friend of mine told me about it, and I currently found it on HBO Max. It is literally like a show that was on regular British television, like 7:30 at night. Just like normally here. What shows do we get here at 7:30, Derek? Like. The Weakest Link, something like that. This particular show is a dating show. Nothing abnormal about that. Let's meet our contestant, Derek. Fellow walks out on the stage. Okay, Derek, you ready to meet your singles? Yes, I'm ready to meet the bachelorettes. And so they have 6 of them there, and they're all behind like a smoked glass so you can see the silhouette of the person. And one's got like a red light over them, one's got a green light, one's got a blue light, whatever. Okay, let's go ahead and start to raise the partition. And they raise it up to the waist. So now it's like, okay, you can see basically the trunk or the below waist of each person. And they say, is there anything that jumps out at you? And let's go up and get a closer look. Now you have to eliminate one of them. Thing is, Derek, and this is the kicker. You ready for this? They're all naked. Totally naked. I mean, and it goes all the way up to eventually you see the people completely naked, and then you have to, if you were on there, for example, Derek, you get to pick your 2 finalists. They come down. You get to pick one to go on a date. But before they do that, you have to then leave the stage and come back, and now Derek's on the stage with them. He's also birthday suit naked. It's fascinating. It's called Naked Attraction. It's a fascinating show. And then it gives you biological reasons why like people find certain areas of the body attractive. And I mean, it really is. And some of the one thing that you learn, Derek, in this is that 90, and this is a rough estimate, 98.7% of all people have disgusting bodies. That's the one thing that you learn. Very few people have what would be listed as beautiful and attractive specimens and body. What would you have against that? Like,
Old Pros Table in Broad Ripple is closing as we continue our quick hits.
here's one of the girls that was on it. Now, what?
An
like
Indianapolis
if you had to
institution,
critique that, should I show that to the camera?
affectionately referred to as
why do
OPTs.
What are you, Mike
I'm
Pence?
trying to do
like,
a show.
Why are you so
I'm
afraid
trying to do a show here. This has nothing to do with mother or anything like that. I'm trying to do a show.
You don't find her attractive?
Just relax. You showed me last night. There was like an 8-year-old with his dad behind us at the Horizon League game, and Jake showed me his phone. Hey, there's this British show. Like, what do you think about this chick?
What do you think? She's attractive, though, right?
Let me do the show, Jake. Okay? You can show me whatever you want on your phone after the show.
Okay.
Let's do the show. You had a drink at OPTs, right? Can you talk about that?
I did,
liked
and then
OPTs?
actually what was interesting is afterwards I met a couple of people there, and we went back and everybody got naked to find out who was the most attractive. And we found out that 98.7% of all people are not overly attractive when they're naked. And you can see more of that, actually, if you'd like to watch this show on HBO Max. It was formerly on British television.
We have 10 more minutes. Can you do 10 minutes? Do
10?
we need to make it 5 minutes? Do we need to end the show now? Because we could do Chateau Kitchen's Bite or Bull Bleep if you want to just bust
Old
through
Pros
and end the
Table
show now.
was awesome. Okay. I honestly, and I get it, Father Time is undefeated. And Broad Ripple has undergone some serious challenges. I used to work right down the street from Old Pros Table at Hardwick's Pipe and Tobacco, which I loved, 743 Broad Ripple Avenue. It's now just an empty space. And Shannon worked across the street from Old Pros Table. And so as a result, we would go in there, I don't know, probably once a month or so. We would go in before dinner or after dinner and just kind of reminisce. They had great fireplaces in there, tons of pool tables. And it really was a landmark spot of my 20s, my early 30s, my coming of age. My biggest memory of Old Pros Table is that's where I watched the vast majority of the 95 playoffs for the Pacers, and all of my buddies, I loved everything about it. I loved being brought up at that time. I realized that times change, demographics change, neighborhoods change, all of it. I get all of that. That said, probably more I should say socioeconomics change. But I'll miss it. I thought it was a great place, Derek, and I get it. I understand it, but I was sad to hear the news.
Yeah, it's a great spot. I remember the whole the incident that you embellish during my
I forgot
dual
about that.
bachelor party. That was in the alley
That's right.
behind Old Pros
Were we
table.
showing up at Old Pros Table and you were fighting you were shadowboxing?
We were
in the alley?
meeting. No one was shadowboxing. We were meeting at Old Pros Table.
Yep.
And you came in sort of huffy and puffy, and my friend Eric, who I actually just saw at the IU game, we went to an IU game for the first time in 20 years, the Michigan State game last weekend, shut that down.
He wanted to fight me.
Yeah, he shut that down. And then Jake said, whoa,
No,
I don't want to step into this.
You know what? I
Are we
figured out.
good?
I figured out very quickly. Derek and his friends kind of can't control the liquid muscles. That's what I found out.
That's not true at all.
Well,
Now, at
okay.
the end of the night, when we were on the limousine, I thought I would feel better if I pulled the trigger, but that was me pulling the trigger. That was not involuntary, and there was a trash receptacle on the limousine.
And
So
that
I
ended-
was able
that
to.
ended the night, though, right?
We were ending the night anyway.
No, because I was with somebody else waiting for you at another establishment.
No, there was
Magic
another
City establishment.
There was a Magic City establishment that was at the end of the docket, but we needed to kind of pull the ripcord on the night for multiple reasons.
But you said you had me and somebody else waiting for you there.
It was 2013, and our communication devices weren't as succinct and great as they are now. So I don't know what I did on my flip phone or what was said or what wasn't.
Okay.
I was in and out. I was a little bit under the weather that night.
Yeah,
so
I'd
my
say,
memory was
yeah.
hazy,
Maybe
too.
from shadowboxing.
But, yeah. Well, it was those Optimators at Rathskeller that we started the night with, which was just a really bad deal all around. We come back, Bite or Bull Bleep, and we will wrap up this edition of Query and Schultz here on the ISC Sports Network. Sorry for the weird segment, guys.
Hey, AC.
Nice snap.
Mortgages in a snap. Duh.
Bailey and Wood, a lending hand for Wish TV Sports.
Hey, AC.
Nice snap.
Mortgages in a snap. Duh.
Bailey and Wood, a lending hand for Wish TV Sports.
Back for final time. Query and Schultz, ISC Sports Network. Jake was just asking me about Chateau Kitchens and the services they provide. Why don't I tell you?
Very best.
The kind, loyal listening audience that is still here after Jake's naked British show spiel.
Derek,
Thank
did
you.
an entire thing
for
about
still
lemon
watching.
herb breasts.
Maybe
and
you-
you're getting on me about talking about naked Brits with bad teeth.
Maybe you fast forwarded it a little bit. That's fine.
Most
too.
of them don't have good teeth.
At Chateau Kitchens on Instagram and Facebook for before and after pictures. Chateau Kitchens
They say cheeky a lot.
in the business of in-home transformations. ChateauKitchens.com to get your project started. Stephen Moore and his crew will
Picked
take
up
care
the
of you
wrong
just
hat.
like
There's
they
the
have
Chateau
with
Kitchens
me.
hat.
Did a bathroom for me. They did a kitchen for me. They did a basement for me. Yeah, there's the Chateau Kitchen
you
hat
hand it
right
to
there. No, I'm not going to mess
Well,
up with
I
our
thought maybe
props.
it'd be nice to put them on camera.
Just relax. They can see that the thing is right
You
here.
can't see it.
See it. Yeah.
Now you can see it.
There's
Thank
Chateau
you.
Kitchens. All right.
No,
You good?
Derek.
We got 5 more minutes.
They're
in
a
the show.
great sponsor. They've
We
tripled
have the
the
little
value of
block
your
on the
home
screen. We
device.
have the block. Jordan's even zooming
So
out.
now we go.
Okay.
There we go.
All right. Great. Thank you to Chateau Kitchens. They're awesome. The state of Indiana will not have a representative in the Sweet 16. Bite or Bull Bleep?
At this point, I buy it.
Yeah, me too.
I've been thinking forever, like, hey, we're pushing the panic button on Purdue. They'll be fine once it comes down to it. I don't know what it is with that team that's going on, but something definitely is. And as a result of that, I buy it. There's something's just off. Sometimes it just happens. Chemistry doesn't work with the team. They're just off, and they're off.
Yeah, there's just something just fundamentally broken with them. And I think, especially if they fall to a 4 seed, you end up in the 4-5 game in the second round. Or even, 4 seeds can lose the 13s. A 4-5 game, and you're playing a 5 seed that can really shoot the ball, I think that would be very difficult. I mean, Purdue is essentially, their defensive strategy is praying for other teams to miss open threes. And that's just not a sustainable strategy in a single elimination tournament. Pacers and Kings tonight, baby. So, well, not as you're watching this because it's in Sacramento. So after you watch this, you can see the Pacers and Kings fight for first place in the inverse NBA
Stuck on
standings.
15, baby.
Kings have won 3 of their last 7. Buy it or boldly, Pacers will remain as one of the bottom 3 teams, hence the best lottery odds.
I buy it.
Yeah, I buy it too. They're only a game and a half clear of the 4th team, but they're now 4 games clear of the 5th team. So at worst, the Pacers would have a 12.5% chance at the number 1 pick, which is not bad, considering that the highest you can get is, 14, right?
I'll do the little tankathon right here, Derek. We'll
yeah.
see where it lands.
Do a spin?
Yeah.
Let's do a spin of the wheel.
We'll do a spin of the wheel here in just a second. Do you not have another one?
Last statement. You have one?
I do.
Go. See if it's better
Buy
than
it
mine.
or Bullschultz. Riley Leonard will make at least 3 starts in the NFL this season.
Bull bleep. I will put the over-under at 1.5. I think Leonard will start a game because Jones is bound to be hurt, and I'm still under the assumption that Jones is going to be their quarterback, and by the time you're watching this, he may have signed a long-term extension.
I'm doing a spin
Colts
right now. You
definitely
ready,
trending
Derek?
in that direction, but I'm going to say bull bleep.
Do you want to do the little dee-dee-dee-diddly-dee-dee?
What the hell are you talking about? Wheel of Fortune doesn't have sound.
No. Dee-dee-dee-diddly-dee-dee. You know, the ESPN, the pick is in thing.
That's the NFL, though.
Dee-dee-dee-dee-diddly-dee-dee.
I know, but that's NFL. It's not
Yeah,
NBA.
it works for all of them.
What is it? It's
With
still spinning?
the 5th pick
Oh, no.
in the 2026 NBA
That'd be
draft,
bad.
the Los Angeles Clippers select
Yeah.
Caleb Wilson from the University
Yeah,
of
that'd
North
be
Carolina.
rough.
I do it one more, and it lands
Yeah,
on the 4th.
let's end with a good taste in our mouth.
Okay, here we go. One more. You ready?
With
With the 3rd pick,
Okay, fine.
Cameron Boozer.
Ooh, and I think he got the best player in the draft.
No, A.J. DeMons is the best.
I think AJ is the best fit for the Pacers, but I think the best player in the draft is Cam Boozer.
Okay.
That's what I think.
A.J. DeMons, by the way, has said that he is contemplating staying in school.
Nah.
No,
he's not.
You know, Cooper Flagg said the same thing a year ago.
He's not.
He may. The amount that they're paying him, he could make as much at BYU next year as what he'd make.
Doesn't matter. NBA
Nearly on a rookie
still
scale.
NBA is still the NBA. If you're going to be potentially the number 1 pick, then you go. All kinds of terrible things could happen to you by going back for a second year. It's just not worth the risk.
Uh-oh, Derek.
Thank you
Derek,
to our great
Derek.
sponsors. Oh, number 1 pick. All right.
With
Stop
the
spinning
first
the
pick
wheel.
in the 2026 NBA
Walk away
mock
from the
draft,
table.
the Indiana Pacers select A.J. DeBonsa from
Okay.
Brigham Young University.
Walk away from the table.
That's right.
Thanks to our great sponsor, Chateau Kitchens, who present to you Buy It or Bull Bleep. Our presenting sponsor of the show, Bailey & Wood Financial Group, 855-350-HOME, BAWFG.com. Our friends at the Horizon League, their championships are tonight, and we thank them for allowing us to go to the semifinals last night. Of course, Hoagies and Hops and Chili Water Brewing as well, great partners in allowing us to come into their place and tape this show every single week. For our great ISC crew, for Jordan, for Brant, for Vince, for Rake, who's behind us, he's Jake, I'm Derek. We'll see you next time right here on Query and Schultz, ISC Sports Network.
At Bailey.